All right, Rhea, how are you doing today? I feel a bit nervous, but I'm feeling good. How are you? Great to hear that. So, tell me something about yourself. Sure. I'm a customer support specialist with 3 years of experience in the hospitality industry. I've handled voice and non-voice customer support in a travel and hotel business. And with my experience in handling different customers, I've always made sure to be optimistic in every interaction that I have because I want to answer each customer's questions completely and resolve the concerns and issues to the best of my ability. I really work hard to achieve great performance every single time because I want to provide value to the customer's experience and to the company as well. Aside from that, I'm also a fast learner. I can adjust very well in a new environment in terms of dealing with different types of people, learning new products and services, and I believe this is a helpful quality, especially working in the customer service industry of the BPO. I'm really excited to take on a new responsibility and so happy to be speaking with you right now. I'm a communication arts graduate who loves taking on challenging opportunities. As an optimistic person, I have a natural inclination to look at the bright side of things, and I believe this is helpful, especially when speaking with customers and dealing with difficult situations. Aside from that, I'm also a leader of our organization and a member of several other organizations in our university, and that actually helped me resolve issues, find solutions to problems in the organization, also in helping people achieve their goals, especially in our organization and projects that we do. And I believe this quality is helpful because in the customer service industry or BPO, we help a lot of customers, and it's important that we arrive at a solution that would be helpful for them. And so my experiences in the university and my life as well have actually prepared me well enough for a life in the corporate world. I'm really excited to take on a new responsibility in the workplace, and I'm very happy to be speaking with you right now. Alrighty, tell me about yourself. Welcome back to the present day me, who will give you an insider tip. For tell me about yourself, you shouldn't be surprised that this is one of the most frequently asked questions. And that's because this question sets the conversation or the interview, and it's also, the interviewer giving you the opportunity to set a good impression and also to sell yourself or to give them an idea of who you are and what you can do for the company. If this is your first time hearing this type of question, it might sound simple or may not. For other people, it might sound simple, yeah, but if you're not prepared and you haven't thought of what you're going to answer, it might still be a difficult question for you. So I suggest that before you go into that interview, you have an idea of how to answer this question. Remember that the goal of the interviewer is to make sure that you're a good fit for the job and to find out enough about you so that they'd be able to determine that you are the best for the role that they're looking for. And I have learned something from the big interview formula. This formula is, for you to easily answer the tell me about yourself question, and you don't have to think deeply or anything anymore. Just follow this formula. The first one is a quick introduction of yourself, which is a professional overview of your strengths and shows a bit of your personality. If you heard the example earlier, that's what I did in my answer. A good example will give the interviewer an idea of your years of experience without going through your entire resume. Obviously, that's not what we want. We don't want to bore the interviewer. and also without going through your life experience, right? And the number 2 is if you have work experience and you can highlight a bit about your expertise in 1 to 2 statements. And number 3 is to conclude your answer by showing your enthusiasm in the position or the job. Similar to what I did in my answer, where I said I'm very excited to have this new opportunity and I'm happy to be speaking with you right now. So it's just an example. It's really up to you on how you construct your sentence. The important thing is these 3 things are part of your answer. So ideally, your answer should be 30 seconds to 2 minutes long, nothing more than 2 minutes. Actually, 2 minutes is already very long, but if you can make it to that time frame, then you should be good. All right, what would you say is your greatest strength? One of my greatest strengths is that I'm able to work well under pressure because I'm calm and I know how to handle my emotions. I know how to control myself, especially when dealing with difficult people and difficult situations. And I believe this is truly helpful in the customer service industry, wherein we speak with customers on a daily basis. Aside from that, I'm also inquisitive. I ask a lot of questions, especially when there's something that I don't understand or something that I need clarifications on, instead of just assuming that I know something. And I think it's very important because it will help me avoid costly mistakes, especially in the workplace. So what are your greatest strengths? Again, this is not a surprising interview question. You always get asked this question every single time, regardless of where you are, what type of industry you are in. And the non-secret to this question is really to just highlight the strength that will let you tie that into whatever role you are interviewing for. So in my example, it was for a customer support role. If you notice that it always related to the role that I have, and that's what you can do too. For example, your strength is that you have great communication skills, and you have to think of how that skill or strength will be able to help the company grow and develop and be able to help the customers and the clients as well. So always think about what can you do for the company, what can you contribute to the company that will help them, grow or make their operations even better. Simple as that. Now let's move on to the third question. What's your greatest weakness? One weakness that I have is it's very difficult for me to say no, and that's because I tend to feel bad every time I need to refuse or decline something. In my experience with assisting customers before, I would always feel bad too if I needed to decline a customer's request. But I understand that every time that happens, I need to stand my ground and let the customer understand why the request is not possible. I'm aware of that weakness, so what I usually do to overcome or deal with it is to make sure that before my shift or before I speak with customers, I already have prepared my positive scriptings and statements so that when the time comes and I need to deliver a bad news or say no, I'd be able to say it appropriately and be able to explain to the customer exactly why we cannot fulfill the request. So for the third question, obviously, if there's a question about your strengths, then there should also be a question about your weaknesses, because humans as we are, there should be a balance of strengths and weaknesses. I have a lot of videos about this, but really what I always say is that choose one weakness that you can turn into a positive one, and that you already have overcome and you know how to deal with. So don't choose something that's a deal breaker, such as my weakness is that I always wake up late, so I always go to work late. Well, although that sounds like a weakness, it's actually not. It's actually like a behavior, negative behavior that you should avoid doing if you want to get hired or even if you want to really stay long in a company. So choose something that you can explain very well. In the example that I provided earlier, I mentioned that it's difficult for me to say no, and then I explained what I am doing to overcome it or to deal with it. Alright, so you don't have to choose something grand or anything like that. Just keep it simple and make sure that you'll be able to explain it. So let's move on to the fourth question. Looking at your resume, I noticed that you are still employed. So why are you leaving your current position or your current employer? At this point in my career, I'm eager to move forward to a different opportunity and be part of a company that values its employees' well-being. And although I love my current role, I love my managers and teammates and colleagues, I've learned so much from them. I am now ready to face another challenge, and I know that my experience in customer service and dealing with different types of customers and people in my industry will help me provide excellent customer service in the company, help the company achieve a greater customer satisfaction. At this point in my career, I believe that now is the best opportunity for me to join an exciting and challenging industry like the BPO, customer service. And although I love my role as a teacher, my current company has helped me become resilient, creative, and innovative, and also become so patient because of the students and the people that I deal with in every day or in a daily basis. I feel that now I'm already ready to move on to a different phase of my life. And I'm sure that my experience as a teacher will also help me be a great performer in the customer service industry. For the fourth question, I actually always get this question a lot as well. Now, if this question is asked, then most likely you have indicated in your resume that you are still employed. I also get a lot of questions. I also get a lot of questions from you guys whether or not you are going to tell your interviewer that you are still employed, and the answer should be yes. You should tell your interviewer that you're still employed because you don't want to be in that hellhole of like trying to lie your way out of the interview. Some interviewers simply want to ask, and there's really nothing wrong when you are applying while you are employed. Now, a lot of employed professionals, they're looking for better opportunities. In fact, it is actually an advantage to your future company because that only means that someone who has been employed has the work experience to do the job well in the company. Or maybe you are also part of that group of people, employed professionals who are passively looking for a job, right? And these people are ready to leave their current employers if there is a better opportunity that comes along. I think recruiters, employers already know that. And I've also done this a lot in my career. Like every time I feel like I am ready to move forward, I'd make sure to, go to an interview and make sure that I'm fit for that job. But I wouldn't go as far as resigning or leaving my job if I knew that I didn't have a new job yet. You can actually do that if you have enough savings to tide your way into the months wherein you're not yet sure if you'll get hired or not. So how will you answer this question of why are you leaving your current role or your company? First things first, you have to evoke a message that you are not running away from your previous company, but you are actually running to the new company. So in this way, your company will know that you're looking for a new opportunity, and interviewers just really want you to be honest when things haven't worked out. If things are not going well in your current company, they don't have to know all the details. You just have to let them know that you're eager to move forward to a new opportunity, and that's it. So less talk, less mistake. Just make it short and clear, and we don't have to air your dirty laundry over to your interviewer. That's such a no-no. And don't ever badmouth your current employer. In fact, it would be even better if you just focus on the good things or the positive things by telling your interviewer what you have learned from your previous company or from your current company, similar to the example that I gave earlier. So if you're shifting to the BPO industry coming from a different career, then you can say something like that, the example that I provided earlier. All right? Now let's move on to question number 5. How do you think would your boss, your coworker, or your colleagues describe you? My colleagues would describe me as someone who strives for excellence and would always do my best in everything that I do. That's because I truly value my work and would want to make sure that I give 101% in everything that I do. I think this is really a great mindset to have, especially in a challenging industry like the BPO. And I feel that wherever I will be assigned to, I'd be able to rise up to the challenge and really give my all. Even though the task is unfamiliar to me or the task is super new to me, since this is just my first time working in the BPO industry. Now for this 5th question, you can make it super quick. First, just be honest, and then second is choose 1 to 2 personality traits that you think your colleagues, your managers, your teammates love about you. For sure there are a lot, but you can just keep it short. And then number 3 is make sure you highlight how these personality traits can be applicable to the job that you are applying for. And that's it. You don't have to make it long. Right? Now, if you're wondering why I only focused on the 5 out of 10 topmost interview questions that are frequently asked by recruiters, that's because the rest of the questions are actually behavioral or situational questions that I've already explained in detail in my past videos. So if you want to check those out, I will link the playlist up here. I have several videos explaining how to answer behavioral or situational questions using the STAR format, and for sure you will learn so much if you haven't watched that yet. And if you want to see the resource for this video, like how I knew that these are the top most questions, I will link the article in the description below so you can check it out. Go ahead and check out all of my playlists for interview and application, and for sure you'll learn a thing or two, or even more. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've learned something, and I wish you all the best in your application.